You ready now? Okay. Welcome to the September 26, 2024 Planning Board meeting. Our chairman isn't here, so I'm acting chairman tonight. First on the agenda is a conceptual hearing for George and Christina Overton at 257 Dustin Tavern Road. Somebody here? Well, we'll move that down for now. Next on the agenda is a conceptual hearing for the estate of Alan Ilsley. Karen Flippy is here to speak about it.
Hi there.
Hi.
My husband will just pass around some conceptual drawings that we've got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So my name is Karen Philippi, and this is my husband Brian. This is our son Luke and his girlfriend Alex.
Okay.
And I'll just tell you a little bit why we're here. So Brian and I are actually from Columbus, Ohio, and we have 4 adult kids. They all live in Columbus, with the exception of Luke. So Luke's an air traffic controller, and he is stationed at the Boston Airspace in Nashville. Sure. Okay, so I have to start over? All right, sorry, be repetitive.
No, just one. Another wallpaper.
All right, so I'm Karen Philippi. This is my husband, Brian Philippi, our son Luke, and his girlfriend Alex. So a little bit why we're here. Again, we're from Columbus. We've got 4 adult children. They all live in the Columbus area. We also have 2 grandchildren. And Luke's our youngest. He's an air traffic controller out of the Nashua facility. He's been here for 2 years and fell in love with New Hampshire. And he's going to remain here for the rest of his career as an air traffic controller. And so Brian and I had the idea that we would purchase a second home to have up here to come and visit Luke, and a family home. And the idea kind of evolved into purchasing property and actually building 2 separate homes on a piece of property. So we found this land, so it's lot 69 on tax map 406, and it's 11.26 acres. And our desire is to subdivide the property and to give Luke half to build his home to raise his future family here. And then we would build a second home on the other half of the property, which would be a family home to provide, ourselves, Luke's grandparents, his siblings and nieces and nephews, a place to come and, visit him and his family. So, this would be a second home for Brian and I. When we're not using the property, Luke would be looking after it. It would never become, a rental or an Airbnb or anything like that. It wouldn't be an investment property for us at all. It would be a family home. So we've collaborated with Ekman Engineering Survey Company out of Portsmouth. They're the ones that drafted that conceptual drawing that we passed out and marked, a potential subdivision line and placement of the 2 homes. The first lot would be the one that Brian and I would build on. It's 5.76 acres, and then the second is 5.85 acres, and that would be Luke and Alex's. So upon approval of the conceptual design, we would, next steps would be a topographic survey and a perk test. And then additionally, we've engaged Craig DePury from 4 Seasons Excavation. He's provided us like a tentative plan and a quote to extend Huntington Hill Road by approximately 500 feet to where the proposed driveway would go, and then the 75 feet extension past the driveway that's required. And that would be a gravel road with drainage that they've proposed. And then the driveway, we're thinking would be, the entrance would be on lot 1, and then an easement to the second lot.
Okay. We've got a couple hurdles here.
Okay?
The biggest hurdle first hurdle. Can't subdivide on a Class 6 road.
Okay,
Right.
So you need to bring it up to Class 5 standards from where it begins to essentially 400 feet into your two lots,
okay,
which is gonna, it's gonna be pricey. And then the next hurdle is building on a dirt road, if you were able to get, let's say you were able to get a variance from the ZBA, which is what you would need, to not have to pave it,
Yep.
to make it like a Class 5 gravel road.
okay,
But then you need 10 acres for each lot. That's in Article 14.1. So 5-acre lots don't work.
okay.
The only way they do work is if it's a tar road,
If it's, I'm sorry, what?
if it's a tar asphalt road.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There is a procedure to go through where you could build a single house on that lot as a Class 6 road. You have to go to the ZBA, but it's a pretty well laid out procedure you have to go through to do it. You end up going to the selectmen, you end up going to, getting the variance from the ZBA, you end up coming here. It's kind of a round robin type of thing, but it is, a lot of people do it.
Okay,
That would be, to get started with building a house, that would be the way to start. Because you could get away with probably doing minimal work to the road that way. I'm not saying you wouldn't have to do anything to it, but it would be minimized compared to the other options.
sure,
And then maybe you could approach the rest of it as you go kind of thing. I mean, but that's really the biggest thing is you can't subdivide on a Class 6 road, and if it's, unless it's tar, they gotta be 10 acres. So it's, to tar it from where it's not tar up above, from where the tar ends up above, all the way down to your places.
It's a long way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so so the tar finishes what, like 2 miles out, so Huntington Hill is like a dirt road, right? And so just extending Huntington Hill as a dirt road wouldn't make it Class
Wouldn't make it.
5.
no, you still need 10 acres. You need 10
Okay.
acres to do that.
Okay.
The 10 acre lot. You can't subdivide, that's in that Article 14.1.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
got it,
All right.
okay.
All right.
Those are your hurdles.
Yeah.
Pretty big hurdles.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
big
All right.
hurdles. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
your
much.
time.
Appreciate your time.
Okay.
Okay, see Mr. Overton's here, so we can
Sorry about that.
get to him now. Conceptual hearing for 257 Dustin Tavern Road. You want to,
Good old man.
yeah, sure. Yeah, want to pass one out?
So my name is George Overton. I live at 257 Dustin Tavern Road, and basically what I'm trying to accomplish is I'd like to open up like maybe a small event center on my property as far as hosting like birthday parties, weddings, things like that. So I killed my printer at work. You're the only one who has pictures of the actual property, but there are some photos as far as Oak Hill Road. I live on the corner of Oak Hill and 77. Oak Hill Road comes right off, and I think I have about, it's like 950 feet of frontage, I'd say roughly, on that road. So I guess basically, what would I have to do to accomplish my goal?
We've had other people in here inquiring about event centers before. And we've told them, we need a full site plan because with something of that size comes a lot of cars,
Okay,
so parking becomes problematic.
okay.
That's really our biggest concern with
So I
something of
believe
that
in,
size.
I was looking at the zoning regulations, everything online, and there's a formula for parking as far as I believe what they consider to be a parking spot.
Right,
So based on the amount of people I'd like to accommodate, I feel as though there's enough room for me to be able to accommodate a parking size with adequate traffic flow.
yeah, we need to see that though, and
So that's what you're saying, so that just, so basically what would have to be done as far as like a survey, or like the land survey, or?
it needs to be a survey, but it wouldn't need to be done by a surveyor,
Okay,
but it needs to be done to scale,
okay,
and it needs to show everything that you intend to do,
okay,
like where your tent thing would go.
sure,
And the other thing is how you're gonna handle, restroom facilities for the events.
sure. Rentals, so I mean,
Yeah,
I have,
so all that would have to be
So
shown,
basically, we want like a-
detailed on there.
so a site plan, like a business plan, basically, as
Yeah.
far as, okay,
Yeah. And then there's a site plan application that you can get from, I think is that online, Naomi?
What's that?
The site plan application?
what exactly does that do when I do that?
Isn't that just a checklist you can go through?
Oh, as far as things that I'll need to bring with me, okay.
Yeah, things you need to put on the plan.
Oh, as far as things you'll be looking for it to scale, okay,
Yep.
okay.
Rest of the board have anything to?
I guess if anybody has any concerns or something they'd like me to bring with
The-
me next time.
If I recall, a previous situation that we had, they were just gonna park in a field. And we felt at that time that was insufficient parking per se, that you'd have to make a legitimate parking.
Yeah, my goal
process.
will be to bring in essentially not necessarily fill, because it doesn't need to be filled, but more, I guess, earth
Needs to be
to
more of a-
to flatten out gravel.
More permanent
Thing-
surface, so
yeah,
people don't get stuck if it rains. kind of
Correct,
thing.
yeah, that was the plan. I crudely drew out kind of a rough idea of what I would want to do.
The other thing is with part of that, you'd have to put in a driveway permit to put the driveway to get in and out of the parking lot to make sure that there's the requirements for that.
Sure, as far as visibility around corners, things like that, okay,
Whether or not you might need to put a culvert in.
okay. So
Coming in.
upgrading the road?
Yeah, and they may have you.
No, I don't think you need to do anything to the
No,
road, to the
but
road
you may have to
itself.
put a paved apron so you don't drive out and crush the,
Okay,
You might be able to just swing in there from his
crush
own
the
driveway.
the asphalt that's in the town.
sure, I understand.
Depending on what the road agent.
Okay.
You go to him.
But I mean,
Bruce, the site plan review regulations on the planning board page at the last end of it, last 5 pages of the application.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
yeah, if you go through that application, it tells you what to put on the plan.
Okay,
But it needs to, the plan needs to, it doesn't have to be done by a surveyor, but it's gotta be accurate.
okay. I can accomplish that.
Showing in, where the property lines are, make sure you're set back, all of that, so you're not
You
encroaching.
think that's something I could blow up the GIS map or something like that?
GIS map is not accurate.
Not accurate, fair enough, okay,
They're to be used as a guide only. I think it says right in the GIS site.
okay.
Their accuracy
And that
is-
guide is not useful in this scenario,
No,
okay,
no.
okay,
But there are people that do site plans like that aren't surveyors that, can get it done, I'm sure, quicker and for a lot less money than a regular surveyor would.
surveyor, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I can figure that out.
But, and you notify abutters and have
Sure.
abutters come down.
Now, is this something I do here, or is that a zoning board scenario?
No, it's all here.
Okay,
I
because
don't-
it's not, no variance is necessarily
Well, not-
required
not
based
that-
on.
I can think of,
Not
yeah,
that it appears.
No.
I think you're all set.
Okay. Cool. No other questions, nothing? Everybody good? Okay. I'll gather some information.
Okay,
Cool, thank you guys, have a great day.
Next, we've got a subdivision application for Thomas L. Corrado. This is a subdivision we approved in December of '22, I believe, and we have essentially 6 months to meet the conditional approval, which wasn't done for various reasons, so our approval kind of expired. So I think Jock is like, started again based on
Sure.
the application that, based on the plan he had done a year and a half ago.
Jump in?
Sure.
All right. Jacques Belanger, I'm the surveyor that prepared the original subdivision for Corrado on Sugar Hill Road. We did get this thing approved, I forget when it was, December or January, about a year and a half ago. And we did sit on it for various reasons. And I didn't realize we had a time frame, 6-month time frame. So that was brought to our attention, and here we are to kind of refreshing it and get it reapproved and get it recorded. Nothing's changed. We're looking at the same approval we had originally, creating the 3 lots. Tom has done quite a bit of work on the existing,
Do you have the application there?
the actual,
It's right here.
what do you want?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You always got it.
All that is.
No,
I don't have the full one with me.
All right.
why don't you give me a second?
Sure.
August, then finally got through December.
It's been 2 years since it started.
Yeah. I remember going up there for the site walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think June of 2022 was when we prepared the plan originally.
It was, I thought it was August we were up there, but
If, yeah, we did our work in June, it would have been there August, yeah.
Still haven't got state subdivision approval?
Don't need it.
Oh, the 5 acres. Okay.
Yeah, I think the smallest lot's 5 acres,
Yeah, yeah. It says pending here. It's really not pending. It's not applicable.
not applicable. No, there weren't any state permits required.
I didn't think so. But this says pending here, so that's why I
Okay,
asked.
I can cross it out if you'd like.
First thing we need to do is accept the application. And it appears that it's complete.
Any,
It doesn't need any waivers. He's not asking for
Waivers.
anything.
Where's why they're doing that? Do you want to appoint your alternate
Yeah.
since we're going to have to vote?
The, pardon my delay in this, but I'm going to appoint Ray Menard and Jack Meany as voting members since we're missing 2 members tonight.
You ready?
Nobody got the mail for the homeowners association. So the first thing we need to do is accept the application as complete.
Make a motion, we accept the application as being complete.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now we've accepted the application, now you may continue.
Back to me,
Mr.
great.
Belanger.
All right, so we basically have the same plan we had back in probably December of '22 that you voted on and accepted and approved. There were some conditions with that plan. There was to be 3 nursery stock trees planted across from lot 204 to block headlights from the driveway when he put that one in. And I think that was, that revolved around the building permit, when they applied for a building permit on that one. Another condition was also there was a maintenance easement across the front of the property for drainage or road, whatever they may need. That's been shown on the plan. Across the front, pins have been all set. Another thing was a driveway for the larger lot, lot 177-2. There's a driveway plan that we presented the last go-around. That's still, we intend to use the same design for that, which there was an option of either replacing the culvert crossing the road here, that is, it's collapsed or crushed or full or whatever, was to keep the drainage on this side of the road, cut to this last driveway in his project, and force the water out back, take care of anything. I think the road agent as well as Steve Keach had done the review on that. You should have a letter in your file for that. And that's what we had proposed on doing there. Since, I think that was it, bounds us at, I don't know if we had any other issues that we had to address. Survey work was done. The rest of it depended upon a little bit of site improvements here and there, and then pulling the actual driveway permits, you'd have to do the improvements for the drainage and plant the trees before you get his building permits.
Do you know if one of the requirements, stipulations back then was the easement documents had to be prepared and reviewed by town council? Do you know if that was
I
ever
haven't done those, no. That's gonna be on Tom.
So that still needs to be done.
I'll make sure he gets on that, yep.
Was the ditch regraded?
Was what? No. He's actually paved that driveway since we had this approved, so that's gonna be up to him to fix that.
Okay.
That's the first lot
That was he paved the road, the driveway for this house
for
here.
the original house?
Yeah, I think the intent was to pick up this ditch. There's a pretty weak ditch. Again, this culvert here was collapsed. We didn't know it was there when we surveyed it. We found looking at some previous survey plan across the road, we could see that it showed the culvert there. Then we dug it up and found it. Like I said, it's crushed or collapsed, and that whole ditch line's filled. So it came down. Steve Keach recommended, I think it was to either replace it or keep the water on this side and force it down this driveway, and that's what we did. And use that driveway basically as a dam. Right now, everything's kind of traveling down this way and dumps kind of across this driveway and the next driveway down. Used to be, I assume it still is, Nicole, David and
Yeah, no.
Diane Nicole, yeah. They had some issues with water, and
Right.
that seemed to be the way to handle everything on that side of the road. It was causing a problem. And anything he did would just increase that, so we can pick up that there. So that document, no, he never did that. So we'll need to attend that before the Mylar's recorded.
Yeah, and the front bounds, what's that?
Front, one of them is, this one here is between the parent tract and 77-1. This one here, the agreement was that once he built this berm and everything, we would set it at that point. If we set it now, it's just gonna get wiped out because it's in the way. We did stake it. We may have actually set it looks like we did set a rebar there, anticipating having to replace it with a bound when that time came, at that front corner.
What do you get for setting bounds?
A lot.
Well, if he's gonna want this Mylar recorded without that bound being set, I'm gonna suggest that we put a little bond up, twice what you normally get for setting a bound. And then,
If it gets a Mylar set, we'll set it, and then it's gonna be his problem, he's gonna have to reset it. I don't care, yeah. If that's what it takes, yeah, it's easier than doing a bond, right?
I mean, those are
It's
options.
kind of a minuscule amount for a bond.
I know.
Yeah, we'll set the bound.
And the ditch regrade still needs to be done.
About that note.
I, number 5.
And number 5, a note subdivision plan, that the grading is to be done per the grading plan dated June 30th. You have a grading?
Is that your notes, or,
Yeah, it's, there were conditions that we had previously.
okay,
Same thing I sent you.
okay, all right, okay, it's gonna have to be something's gonna have to be held to then, yep. Yeah, we just want the same approval we had, whatever it was.
So but the only, okay. So out of these 5 conditions, really, 3, you set one of the bounds, the other one's gonna need to be set too, so,
The other one's already set.
well, you said it's a pin, 1 bound, 1 pin you got in there?
One bound is set.
Right,
This one, we set a pin anticipating replacing it with a bound once he did the work.
Yeah.
But if it's a hang-up for you guys, we'll set the bound and be done with it.
yeah,
So 1 bound for us.
yeah.
Okay.
So we can cross that out, maybe 1 at this point. Okay.
Now, he has done some work in there.
Yeah, I've seen that, I
Okay,
drive by
yeah.
there tonight.
I don't know, I was out there before we made this application, so I don't know what he's done since then. He has, I think, talked to the road agent, and I think he's done some work up in here. I don't think he's busted through the wall.
No, he hasn't.
Okay, then here he's done some work, I don't remember if it came out to the road or not.
Yeah, it does, he's all the way to the road there,
Out
Okay.
to the road and tractor marks in the road.
Okay.
Where the excavator was.
yeah. Okay. Anybody else have any questions before I open the 2 butters?
No.
Any butters like to speak? I'm opening the public hearing now for butters.
Yeah.
Come on up, state your name.
My name's Scott White. I live across the street at 114 South Sugar Hill Road.
Okay.
His driveway's been put in. I don't know if it had a permit to do it or anything. He's had excavators in the road. When the cars go up the road now, there's rumble strips. There's people that coming out of that road from the main house coming around. I don't know if it's a horseshoe now or what it is, but they go in the main driveway, it's paved. They come out the driveway into my house, looking like headlights in my house. The other night, somebody sat there for 2 hours with the lights on facing my house. I'm not happy with that. My girlfriend's not happy. My dogs are not happy. You know, I mean, he's got to do something about that part of it. In the water, the last rainstorm we had, not this one, we had 10 inches of rain in the road going down the road.
Well, he hasn't done the ditch work yet.
And that's what the stipulation was, to do drainage to get it out
Right.
of the road.
And that's still gonna be a stipulation, is to do that grading.
And Dave Nichols, who's not here tonight, I don't know why he's not here, but he had 8 inches of water in his driveway from this coming down the road. So, I mean, there's something that's gotta be done other than what they're trying to plan here, or try to pull, because it's not
That's
not
why,
right.
that's why they're back here, because they didn't, the approval wasn't fully executed.
Okay,
And that was one of the things that wasn't fully executed.
right. I thought it was drainage had to be done first before they could do anything.
Yep. It does. That's why it's on our list.
So I just have a couple questions. I'm Barbara McCann. I'm across the street from the first house lot. And I appreciate that the 3 trees are going to be put in to block the headlights. I'm just a little concerned because the stakes that were marking where the driveway was going to go in has been removed, so I'm not sure where the driveway is going to go in, and I just want to make sure it's not directly across from mine just because of the water issues. And I do agree that there's a lot of water that runs down that side of the road. It washes out people's driveways above us and across the street from us. My question is to the board is, how is the water going to run down on the easement area where you're going to pipe it out to the back when that lot goes up, right? Because I'm below it, as is Scott White, and the land actually goes up. So I'm just not sure how water is going to flow uphill to
It's
get.
not gonna flow on the ground that's there. They have to dig a ditch.
Are they going to put like a cistern or just a
No, they have to
drainage?
build a swale so the water can flow downhill to get there. And it goes all the way out around to the back of that last house.
So it's gonna be low enough to move that water?
Yes.
And they're gonna have some
They're gonna have to do- they have to do
requirement to
some
maintain it
Pretty
over
good
time?
ditch work there.
Okay, and the easement will give them the requirement to maintain it over time, so it won't fill in and, okay, all right. And will the stakes be put back in place? I'm gonna look over at you, Jacques. Or something so I know where the driveway's
Well,
gonna
the,
go, because there's nothing there.
there's-
They're gone, I don't know where they went to.
There's a, we made them put that driveway location on the plan,
Yeah,
which is where the stake was, that, you can see the thread of the driveway on that,
Yeah.
like that S-shaped line there.
yeah.
And that's where the stake was originally.
It should have been, yeah. It's been, again, 2 years.
Right here, is
Yeah.
that what you're saying, that line right there?
Yeah, your driveway's down a little bit further
Yeah.
south
Okay.
than that. That's what the intended was, up
All right,
by
well,
that
just because the
corner.
dirt piles are more this way,
Yeah.
so that's why I was a little concerned where the driveway was going.
Yeah, yeah, we're not involved with laying out the driveway and stuff inside.
But
the
that's
lot.
why we had them show that thread of that driveway on there, so that that's where the driveway gets put, because that's what we all, when we did the site walk, we all looked at that.
Right,
Right.
right, and there were grade stakes there, but all I know right now, where the dirt is and stuff, it
They
looks somewhere.
disappeared, the stakes disappeared.
Yeah, which happens, I mean,
Oh,
it's
sure.
it's been it's been a year and a half, I mean,
But the ones crossing my road, they stayed there the whole time, and they're still there.
they won't get the driveway permit anywhere else.
Okay, all right, because, yeah, the dirt looks like it's somewhere else.
Yeah.
So those are my concerns.
Good evening. I'm Jonathan. This is my wife Desiree Cloutier. We're the north house of the, I guess, proposed added lot. My biggest concerns are, so I know it's no one's problem really, but when we bought the house, we had no idea there was plans to subdivide that, and we bought that house for privacy because the red house is so far away. So that. There's also where that house, I've seen the map a little bit, don't exactly understand, but if the driveway, is it coming in and turning like towards where our house is?
Was your house?
So
You're
we'd be the
93.
north, we're
So
93,
you-
so
So you're
we're,
up closer to
yep, uphill,
Ilsley's?
yep.
Yeah.
No, no, you're that house.
Or, I don't know if we're looking at this
Right
one.
next
No,
to
I think you're right here.
Which one,
Excuse me.
Sugar Hill?
I think this is you right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this
that's
one, yep,
us.
yeah, we're,
So, yeah, I mean, that driveway would be just after your house, but it's gonna go in and it's gonna kinda cut away from your house.
okay, cause so another concern of mine, other than just like, now, there's a house right next to mine, my property value dropping, if everyone wants to sell it. But there's that, and then I also have that line this, basically the whole thing, I have huge trees, and they all lean that way.
And that's a stone wall, isn't it? Your lot line's a stone wall on that side?
Yeah, there's a stone wall,
So, I mean, they can't,
but
well
in,
marks where it goes. If whatever trees are on their side of the wall,
no, and I'm talking about my side
they
of the
can't
wall.
touch those trees.
No. I'm worried about now I have to spend the money and time to cut those down, because if those, we know pine trees fall every winter. I've had trees that I had to cut down because they were either they had fell, or I've had other ones fall down. And a lot of those, I haven't been worried about them because they kind of lean, and there's been no house there. No, I mean, it's property, right? It's someone's property, but there's nothing, if that tree falls, that's going to cause immediate damage or like harm to something. Whereas I'm going to be liable and going to have to come out of pocket to cut all those trees, because I can't risk those falling on a house. Because how far is the house planned to be off?
Has to be 20 feet from the lot line.
Yeah, so that's not very far for these giant pine trees.
That's what our setback requirements are.
Yeah, no, but that's just concerns I have.
Yeah.
Privacy, like not having any. It's pretty open. I mean, yeah, there's some shrubs and stuff, but it's all, I don't know if, I thought the driveway turned to face the house because I was kind of worried about lights and stuff shining in
Yeah,
ours,
it
but.
kind of goes away from your house as you go up, so you can't.
Yeah. No, I had spoke to him out there, and he was talking about it turning towards the house. He was like, we're going to do like a little turnaround right here.
Yeah, I can't,
Because I just went over and talked to him one day when he was out there digging.
yeah, I'll,
But if that's not the plan, then. Yeah, then another question, going to be, right, 'cause all these guys live south of the house or across, and now any water that I have that, because our driveway gets all washed out too, am I gonna be responsible for any water that's then gonna go
No, they're gonna take care of the water as it flows
Into
across
that.
their property. I mean,
okay, yeah, that's just,
nothing changes for you. You're kind of uphill from it.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, did you have anything?
I mean, as long as you don't go building anything and changing the water flow, then you won't have any worries.
Well, so then, I mean,
If you do build something down the road and you
Yeah.
change the flow of the water, you may have to do something about it. But
what do you mean by build something?
like if you build a barn or a garage or something and you change the water flow,
No, I think I'd build mine back far anyway, but okay, yeah,
but, I mean, what's on your lot is what's already there before this development, so.
okay.
Is there something that we can get as far as like privacy now between the
No.
proposed?
It's a residential against a residential, there's no change of use, there's no, I mean, a regular zoning. We have 20-foot setback requirements, I mean, we don't require buffers from, if someone builds a house next to you for trees, we don't do that.
Okay.
It's not like it's a commercial building going
Yeah.
up there, that's gonna be an eyesore, it's another house.
Okay.
Yeah, okay,
I think that's it.
yeah, that's good to know.
Anything else?
Yeah, no, I think that was it, yeah.
Okay.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other abutters? No? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment period. Thinking about what they've said about the driveway, and, I mean, we've shown the proposed driveway line on here. I really want to make sure that's where he builds it.
He's only gonna get off the pavement. I mean,
I know, but I want to make sure that's where the driveway goes. He doesn't try to move it somewhere else.
you mean just at the intersection with the pavement?
Yes.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's on here and he's gotta pull a driveway permit. I mean, it's gonna be kind of up to your road agent. If he doesn't hold that, he's gotta answer to somebody, not, I mean, we can.
Well, we
point
gotta
all
put a
day.
note on there saying that driveway location is that driveway location. Because, I mean, we talked about this initially, with the headlights coming in her house.
Right, with Barbara's, yeah.
Yeah, and.
That's why we
and
shifted
it's a
it.
legitimate driveway location, there's no reason why you should have to change it.
No, I agree. No, and I think that was kind of the crest of the hill and as close
Yeah.
as we can get to that wall
So
without
we-
disturbing it.
I think we'd like a note on the plan saying that that driveway has to go there.
Okay.
That driveway isn't in, so it's not any,
It wasn't last time I was out there.
no, I just drove by it tonight,
Okay.
there's nothing there, yeah.
All right, I think I missed numbered a note as well. I was just noticing, going about the trees, yeah, I think that's note 9, not note 8.
And if the driveway's over there, then there's no chance that he could swing to the left somehow, because it's fairly close to the lot line.
Right.
Yeah, oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of dictates a little bit how the driveway goes.
Sure. I mean, the way it is there, it kind of rides the knoll, it comes
Right.
around. It doesn't cut straight up, and that's kind of why we went that way.
Yeah,
It is a little bit higher on the north side. So we moved it that way for the headlights for Barbara, line of sight, and sweeping around the knoll.
yeah,
Okay. All right, there's a note.
okay.
And he understands that the ditch regrade has to happen before any building permit is given.
Yeah, I believe that's the way the approval was stated last time.
Okay.
Yeah. But we can record the plan prior to that.
Right, you just can't get a building permit.
Can't get a building permit until his ditch work is done.
Right, right.
Yep.
So we're gonna add a note, add number 6 on here, saying that, what lot is that? That's lot 1.
177-1. It'll be note 12, actually, right?
Anybody else have any comments, or questions? I mean, I don't think we need another site walk out there. We've done one a year and a half ago. And I don't think anything changed substantially in the neighborhood.
No, other than the reality of the water concern, it's still there, so.
Yeah, that's,
Once that gets fixed, should satisfy the water and, well, you're on the other side of the road, you're up above it.
But
Well, for
it all
Dave,
rolls my way.
for Dave Nickel, and we'll keep it off the road.
Yeah, that's not all this site's problem. I mean, it all doesn't originate there. It
no,
runs
we
down that road.
understand that.
Okay.
It's coming down the road.
Yeah.
All right. He will add to it if he doesn't fix it, but, yeah.
Right.
Okay, as long as we understand that.
Yeah.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Move we approve the subdivision for Thomas Corrado, tax map 403-177 at 111 South Sugar Road,
Second?
With conditions?
with the 6 conditions that, 5 that were previous, and 1 additional one concerning the driveway location set for lot 177-1. And it's going to be noted as number 12, you said?
I believe it'll be 12, yep.
Number 12 on the plan.
Now I'll second it. There was that dramatic pause.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Aye?
Aye.
Thank you for seeing us.
Yeah.
Can't ask the question. Keep forgetting. Should have asked the question earlier. I can't ask it now.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
You guys approved it, but the house that they've originally had, no septic system. Still haven't got a septic system that I know of. They got it on the plan, but it's been, what, 2 years now, not been taken care of? Is that ever gonna be,
Is anybody living in it?
oh, there's people that live there. They're there like 3-4 days a week.
Yeah. If they go to sell it, they're gonna have to do something.
But they bought it. Doesn't it have to come up to code?
That's a New Hampshire DES issue, and they're working, the state's working on revamping some things to make that happen. So if they go to sell it at this point, they'll have to do something.
Okay, I mean, it's on the plan, but we talked about this way back when we first did this, and
Yeah.
they put in I guess, a container that supposedly gets pumped. I haven't seen it get pumped in over 1.5 years.
Yeah.
Well, it's something that probably has to go to DES, that's they're violating their regulations. You know, and like you said, they're rewriting them constantly. They had a new statute that passed the 1st of September, and the legislature took it upon themselves and has now set everything into a mass confusion. The DES doesn't know which way to turn.
Since he's put the container in, I don't have rainbows on my side anymore. From where it was coming through leaching through the ground and under the road.
He'll end up having, before he sells it, he'll have to rectify it.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
will we be notified when they go to get permits to build? Or do
No.
we have to just keep an eye on it?
You keep an eye on it. There's no public notification required for building permits.
Okay, so if
But
they
you
they start building, they don't have drainage done yet?
If they start building, and don't have drainage done yet, you immediately come down here and let us know,
We'll do that.
because they shouldn't have gotten the building permit.
And, or they may be
Did they
doing
get a
the
driver's
rest.
permit for that first driveway? Or permit?
They can get a
Drive
driveway
across from
permit.
me?
They can get a driveway permit.
Did they get that?
I don't know if they got a driveway permit for that or not.
Because, I mean, the cars coming up the road, there's like rumble strips now, because they've had bulldozers in the road.
Part of the driveway permit, and when they apply for building permits, when they go out to do a final inspection, if the building inspector sees that, or the road agent sees that they did damage to the road, then they should be held to bear to fix it.
Okay. All right, I'll keep you informed.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'm not sure if I can ask, just kind of related sort of the topic. Is there rules or anything about cutting down trees?
It depends on,
If they're on my property, like specifically the trees I'm talking about, because if he's gonna build, I don't.
there's an intent to cut permit depending on the yield that you're cutting. I'm not sure if cutting down a couple trees is gonna trigger it, probably not.
I was gonna say, what's.
So many board feet.
How much is, because the
Yeah,
house, it's basically a little bit back further than our house.
You wanna, assessing takes care of that, don't they, Naomi?
'Cause I just
Intent to
wanna-
cut permits?
I'd much rather just cut them all down before, because I've had them, like I said, since we moved in, I've had like 10 fall, and I don't want to be responsible for that falling on someone else's property when there's a house there.
Right.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Okay,
Night.
thank you.
Okay, moving on. Next is update from the master plan, update subcommittee.
We did not meet last week due to a tragedy that I was involved with. So we've extended our meeting time through December,
Okay,
because it's just taking us a little longer to hash out perspectives of how to ask things. But things are progressing, and I'm grateful for the people who are involved.
okay. Next, review the capital improvements program rules and regulations, which is what I passed out. This, first sheet, the capital improvements, essentially changed subcommittee to committee, bylaws and functions. And then eliminated the second paragraph on A, because that was assuming the committee was a subcommittee of the planning board. And then I redefined what the committee consists of, with the 4 planning board members and the selectman representative. And then the next paragraph down, the only other real people involved are the town administrator and the land use coordinator, advisory, non-voting members of the committee. You know, I mean, the rest of it is mainly just changing subcommittee to committee, and prior to the B subcommittee, I didn't change that, did I? Committee procedures, B, prior to the first meeting, that all got stricken because that was about the members at large and all the other members that are now just planning board members and the selectmen. And the committee chairman of the CIP can be different than the planning board chairman. I kind of left that like that, so that the committee, like, is not exactly the planning board. If they choose to appoint somebody else as a chairman for the CIP committee. Once all the stricken stuff gets out of here, it's pretty short now. And some of this was a document that I had, but some of it had already been modified, wasn't modifications weren't locked in, whatever, that's why the red ones were previous modifications to it. Do you have any questions about that?
Who's this gonna be for the 25? Because this year you guys doing it.
Yes.
Because next meeting you have CIP on the 11th.
Yep.
October 11th is department heads with CIP.
So the whole board is sitting for the CIP next meeting,
Yes.
and this will be for future?
That's for 25 and beyond.
So
Well, it's
the
essentially.
only question I had, and I asked this last time, and it was noted that the school boards don't participate or hadn't participated.
I don't think they,
So the question, and I'm not sure how this affects us because there's the biggest.
they were stricken, in the red stuff, they were stricken previously.
Correct.
Yeah.
But do those boards operate a CIP unto themselves?
Yeah, they go on the town warrant, they don't even put stuff on the town warrant, it's on the,
I know it's on the school warrant, but I'm just
Right.
curious as to, they do the same thing unto themselves? Which would be more SAU 24 type of perspective as opposed to each individual school board.
On your paragraph E on the back page there, I think you want to strike through sub.
yep. I got the C in there, but I didn't strike out the sub part. So I guess if everybody's okay with that, I can lock these changes in, we probably ought to. Do we need to have a public hearing to change these, Naomi, or can we just, do you know?
Don't remember how you changed the last time, in '06.
It should just be an accept, right?
Yeah,
If I,
Changes.
yeah, if I remember how the minutes read about the establishment of the subcommittee in the first place, I don't think it was something that you called
I didn't think so either.
and the board appointed that committee. But that's based upon your report, that information for me. So I don't know what it was back in 1987.
I don't believe it required it, because the planning board, the RSA
Right.
says the planning board is in charge of the CIP program, and they have the option of doing it themselves or through a subcommittee.
Right.
There's no harm in approving it at your next meeting.
No, there isn't. And
That
we
was
just
gonna
put
be
it
my
on the agenda,
suggestion, is that you not take a vote today and allow anybody
no, I
that
wasn't
wants to
gonna take a vote
come,
today. I was gonna-
wants to come next time and make comments, and
Yeah.
they have opportunity to
Because
do
you're
so.
in CIP mode anyway.
Right.
So,
So I can make those slight modifications that we just talked about, and I can clean this up, and so it's all.
yeah, if you clean it up so
final
there,
language.
yeah, so that there's not a lot of, well, what does the red mean? What does the
Right, right.
purple mean? What
Yeah,
does-
I can eliminate the,
Eliminate all that and just put it down to what it's supposed to be. And-
yep,
And if someone wants to see the previous, we can have that available, right?
yep,
Yeah, she's got three different colors. Red was the amendments in '06 and purple's in '24.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty,
Yeah, if you,
pretty,
You can hang.
all
on-
right, yeah,
You
yeah.
can hang on to it.
Yep, yeah, yeah,
Hang on to it marked up and then do a clean copy.
right. Yeah, do a clean copy for next time
okay,
and we'll approve it then at the,
that's fine.
to be approved.
And this,
Are you cleaning it up, Bruce?
yes, I will, yeah, I got the document, I mean, and I'll send you the finalized document once I get it,
Okay.
so you can have it.
What's the next meeting? The 11th, you said?
11th of October.
Then the next one is CIP program description, I guess. And I
Yeah, I've
pretty-
seen this before.
I pretty much did the same thing here, but I kind of erred. I did a search and replace function on this thing, instead of going through looking for the word subcommittee all over the place.
Right.
So it's not, you don't see the crossing out and all that, it's already all changed. And the other the things I did cross out were on page 5, the voting members.
Yep.
Other than that, it's a,
Did you say you handed it out tonight?
yeah.
I have my old one. I have my old one. I'm not worried about it.
Well, I got, made 8 copies, there's plenty here.
I'll take this too, when you lose it.
Yeah.
Have you notified the finance committee that these changes are gonna be made, or had any discussions with them? I know it doesn't change what they do, but as far as how they get information, might be slightly different.
No, but if we put it on the, we'll put it on the the agenda that we're gonna make these changes, and, I mean, this doesn't affect them at all, really, does it?
No, I said, I don't think it changes their process, but it could change just how they might get information, that's all.
Yeah. I'll get these, I'll get these marked up the next couple days and get them to Naomi, maybe she can send one to the finance committee, email. So, essentially, you know, just to keep consistency between the two, that's what I did here. And we can probably just vote on these both next meeting. Okay. Any other questions on CIP stuff?
Is there a format that we need to have in hand or thinking about as far as how that's gonna unfold when those guys come, those
Yeah,
ladies and
we've been using the same format for 5 or 6 years now, and it's been working.
So is it,
All the department heads get a form, annual form, and we essentially go with a 10-year plan. If they want something,
Excuse me.
except in extenuating circumstances, they have to start 10 years back, and it kind of moves up every year as we advance along. But if they didn't get something, say, this year that we had planned on putting on the warrant didn't go, we don't make them move it back 10 years and start again. That would be, but we do maybe make adjustments in a couple other things if it's a big ticket item, so that we don't get hit all at once. We really, the whole function of the CIP is to try to equalize our capital expenses, so that we're not seeing this as far as capital expenses go. We're looking more for picking someplace in the middle that's a straight line that we can go through to end up in the same place at the end of the 10 years.
so would it be wise for us to have a copy of last year's to,
Yeah,
Do you want me to go there?
yeah.
He says he can't hear me, so. So what we always did, was we let the department heads, one at a time, tell you what they need. Then we put together what we always called a whiteboard, and to see where we were, and then usually Beth has where we were last year or the last couple of years, so you can see, you know, if we were at 800 one year, next year we could have been at 850, and then the next year we're at 900. So it's not a huge spike. And then you analyze it that way, and I think that's the way we're gonna have to do it this year, because we're not gonna have a whiteboard per se, but if we take and put it together in a presentation similar to what the subcommittee used to present to you, we could do that. And we could probably do that, if we do it all the 11th, put it together, Beth and I could put together the presentation that was done before, plug in what we had, so that you have something, and I would say we could hope for the 24th, but I don't know if you're gonna have applications, because that would be your hearing night.
Correct.
Other than that, we could plan on finalizing that first meeting in November.
Well, maybe it not having the detailed request, but that amortization, is that the word I'm looking for? The casting, the
spreadsheet
vision,
of
the
out- yeah,
spreadsheet, if we
the
could
out-
have a
the out
copy of that
years.
spreadsheet.
Yeah, because typically we broke it by department.
Yeah.
And then if they had a corresponding capital reserve fund, what was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then what the anticipation is. We went out 6 just because 10's a long way out, plus it makes your font this big. But we did the first 6, so you could see, you know, what they had for a balance, what they're asking for, and then in rotation, one department may have 2 things one year, one thing one year, you know.
Or nothing.
Yeah, or nothing. And then there'll be a, you know, an offset if there's a funding source. Like Chief Moore will probably have a funding source with his Tahoe request.
Okay.
Yeah, and the fire department has the ambulance fund that funds a
Yeah.
lot of things. So even though it's funded with funds already have in place, they still come before us.
Correct.
So
It's
I
accountability, yeah.
So what our anticipation is, without the subcommittee, CIP subcommittee, I'd like to keep the same format
Yeah.
of how we present it to you and everybody else. Be a little bit different, but everybody would have the same,
Yep.
so.
Okay. Thank you. That was presented, what, in February?
So last year you guys heard it in November from Jack Dearborn.
Okay,
That's why I said if we do it in October, November, we'd still be in the same track.
great. Okay.
I mean, once we're done with it, then we present it to the selectmen, they have the ultimate say in what goes on the
Right.
warrant.
Right.
Based on the work we've done, we're usually not that far apart.
Right.
Minutes. Okay,
July 11th,
July 11th.
Jack's, line 9, Jack's name needs to be corrected.
At this point, wouldn't it just be easier to change the spelling of Jack's name?
Well, the thing is that the next set of minutes it's spelled correctly.
Go fix your name, will you?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, they'll get me confused with Chip, my illegitimate brother.
Well, you both walk the same.
Except he's got a cane.
You had one, that's all right.
We were in
Yeah.
he and I were in knee therapy together. It was kind of
That must have been a
hilarious.
hoot.
Oh, yeah, it was crazy. Everybody's looking for me. Line 30, no, line 20, yeah, line 30. First sentence, lot not owed. Should be owned.
Yeah.
I think that's all I had on that set.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we accept the minutes of July 11th as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 It's July 11th. July 25th. You were here for that one too, Jeff.
Huh? That one was right.
Line 65. The board informed the applicant that if she wanted to submit a different as a kennel, I don't know, different application?
Yes.
Line 81. The committee basically now is, I guess I misread that. That sounds okay now. Basically now is defunct or is now defunct, which is better grammar. Or correct, not better, correct grammar.
It's better.
The committee
more
basically
gooder.
is now defunct. It's more better is now than now is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's now, is now.
Is now defunct.
Is now.
Now, it's now.
Number 88, board chairman could appoint new members. Context of the subject is suggesting that it's establishing a new committee, not a new, just one new member. New members as it is a subcommittee of the planning board. Sorry. I had too much time on my hands today. Not really, I saw you twice today, and it's like,
Make a motion, we accept the minutes of July 25th as amended.
Second.
Seconded by Ray. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we've got August 8th. You weren't here for that,
I
John.
was not here for that one.
Line 39. 3 seats open, there are 3 seats. One of them is filled, but I think I said I would like to just see all of them filled. So there are not 3 open seats.
there are 3 seats.
There are 3 seats.
Okay,
I'd like to see all of them filled.
like to see, oh,
So strike the word open, essentially.
Correct.
line 27, discussion needs an end. Unless we're mixing languages here.
No? We want to make a motion?
Move we accept the minutes as amended of August 8th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstained? Jack
Abstained.
abstained?
I wasn't here.
Jack's abstained.
Yes.
That was good.
Minutes are good. We have some other business.
We do?
The Grace New England Church.
Oh.
Just trying to move forward, so they want to know their next step at this point. And I mean, we can do one of two things. We can hear, they can come in here for a conceptual, we can discuss it a little bit, or they can present a plan and come in here and present the plan. Those are the only options that we can consider.
What would you normally do?
I'd like to do a conceptual. I mean, he was here for conceptual a couple of years ago.
I think it was 18. It was 18,
Yeah.
2018.
2018.
Okay, 6 years ago. 6 years ago.
Was that for the same purpose?
Yes, well,
No.
it was,
For something
I
different,
don't think it
wasn't
was the same purpose.
no, it really wasn't, and that's why I'm
So
thinking,
it didn't,
right,
they never had a conceptual for this purpose?
right.
Just like the gentleman tonight,
Yeah.
asked you what he could do for events, same, similar thing.
So, I think that would be it's gonna be the least costly way for the applicant to proceed, instead of just proceeding blindly and having to do a lot of things he doesn't have to do, or doing things, or not doing things he may need to do, you know?
But hasn't he had the opportunity to address some of those issues already? With inspections by our building department?
We're not getting into that at all.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking, I would lean towards more asking for a site plan.
Well, it's
The facility's already being used. Sorry.
no, I understand that. But,
That's why I asked, what would you normally do?
yeah.
Well, normally, we wouldn't have this discussion. Normally,
Because
it would- they
he
would
kind
come
of
in
asked
with
us to
a
have this discussion,
conceptual,
that's what this is.
you know.
Oh, okay.
So, out of
So-
courtesy, we're having a discussion, and then we can kind of give them some, what our thoughts are. I mean, all we can just do, we're not voting on anything, obviously, we can just say consensus is.
Well, if you do the conceptual, it allows you to have a two-way dialogue about things. If you do the design review, then you actually have to vote on accepting it, and it may or may not be complete based
Correct.
on the circumstances, so.
That's my thought.
Conceptual sounds rational.
Yeah.
Either way, it's gonna go,
Motion to-
go
No,
towards,
there's no more, we're not voting,
Healing.
it's just a consensus thing here, that's all it is. We're not, there's nothing before us really, other than him asking which way to go.
yep.
I think the standard for that would be, what would you do for anybody else that's in the same situation? You know, he's already,
Yeah, he would have been, whoever would have been advised already in the building department to say, you come for conceptual.
and
So you can know the guidelines by
but
which
they've
you're
already
gonna go.
gone beyond that by already up and running, so I mean, would
Yeah.
you hold anybody else to that standard to come back again for a conceptual?
It's,
So
well,
that's
it's not again, it's, I mean, what we talked about 6 years ago was, I thought, something totally different than
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a
what they're doing, so,
different venue.
to be, you know, to be transparent and fair with everybody across the board, I think
Yeah,
that's,
so
for
that's what you
conceptual and
look at.
discuss it is
Yep.
a good way to go.
I agree. Changing my mind.
You're allowed to do that.
I know.
So, tell them we'd like the application filled out as completely as possible,
Yeah, there's a one-page conceptual application.
and we'd really like a good description of what his intended use is. And
That would be at your October 24th meeting.
Yep.
Because I took up your work session for the capital.
CIP, yeah.
Thank you. Since we're under other, can I ask a question?
Sure.
When a concept, like this particular concept,
This one?
is not technically defined in permitted use in the village district, other than the concept of a meeting hall, how do we address things that are not in the language because it's going to become a commercial entity, which is a permitted use, but it's not a permanent structure. So beyond that, it might behoove us to consider having another zoning amendment or definition of non-permanent structures pertaining to commercial use, such as domes.
You know, if the dome's on a foundation,
Right, but it's still not a permanent structure like unto, if it was a steel erected building, it's held up by air. So I don't know how other communities address that particular issue, or, I don't know,
That's an
I
interesting,
don't know, as far as the tent is concerned, one-time use for a wedding,
for a single
for a
event.
single event, is something totally different. But if this is going to be a marketable, ongoing income beyond what they came to us in the first place to have the antique shop, and I'm not sure if that's fully up and running or not, I don't know that. But if this is an optional venue type of thing, we dealt with that on Dudley Brook, and it was conceptual and never went anywhere because of the parking issue, you know, and everybody may have in their minds, well, if you go to the Deerfield Fair, you're parking in no, you're not. You're parking in what looks like a field, but has been covered in gravel 50-plus years ago. And even when they expand, it's all gravel, not a field. So that's why I brought up the question about the parking. It's not just go park in the field. If it's a one-time event, that's a totally different story. But if you're going on a commercial venue, opportunity, so I just propose that for us to think about whether it's something we deal with in that application, or if we deal with it as an issue of terms in our zoning to discern how do we now address those things that are not identified.
There is a definition of building, as you know.
Right.
And it says, shall mean the structure having a foot and intended for the shelter, housing, or enclosure of persons, animals, or shuttle.
Okay.
So, is a tent a building under that? I think it depends upon the tent. If it
Right.
now, that's been decided before in
It
different
has?
cases, because it's like people putting up those temporary garages.
Carport
It looks like a
things,
tent, a
you know?
carport.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a structure, it's not considered a permanent structure like a building, so you
Right.
can't,
Well, even if it's
Right.
anchored, quote-unquote, to
the ground.
That's what I was
massive,
thinking, how is it
massive
anchored, yeah.
cement blocks,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
not
it's
even
still-
anchored to the ground, that's just sitting
Yeah.
on top of the ground. It's like
Tent
a-
stakes holding it down or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's still, then you're running.
But that's, I'm not suggesting that we have to do anything, but it's something that we might want to be contemplating as to what that looks like on a long-term basis, because once one starts, other venues are gonna pop up. I mean, now I'm drawing a blank. The resort on the lake.
Coburn's.
Coburn's.
Coburn's Cottage,
It's not called that, though, it's called something else.
Yeah.
Lake Shore Village Resort. Through their summer months, there's a tent on their beach, or just behind the beach, all summer. I don't think they've come to address that as a potential
Yeah, I mean, or you get.
issue.
Or you get like some of these places, you go to, I think of a place over Epsom, you know, the guy has an auction house, and he
Right.
uses a tent, and it's up all year round. And it's not just one tent, there's several.
Right.
But yeah, it's, you know.
Well, that happened even down the street from me, that Pelletier, when he took down the barn, there was a big auction going on, and tents were set up, but that was short-term,
Yeah, that was for a couple days.
yeah.
But I mean, you may lead to one that's gonna be there indefinitely, you know, it's.
I know there's probably other issues that pertain to how this is safe for long-term, especially if you encapsulate the walls, use walls and the heating system. You know, for my daughter's wedding, there was a heating system, but there was also fire prevention mechanisms built into the rental of that particular tent. But do we have, is that in our building code or even in our fire safety code to address those types of
Well, it's
things?
gonna do it like more than one event, I would think. We definitely want the fire department to have a look at it,
Right,
because
Maybe
there's probably
some-
I'm sure there's an applicable fire code for something that's happening more than once,
And maybe
Right,
something in the
right.
state code for it also.
yeah.
And architectural design in village districts has to match. How do you do that with a tent?
right. Especially, well, what, I mean, how does that work with
You talk about the
Putting up a-
that's Goffstown.
a run-in for your horse, you know, and it looks more modern, I don't know.
Hurdles he's gonna have to go through.
Yeah, I'm not trying to cause trouble, I just want us to be thinking outside the box to understand that there's some potential, because of the vastness of our community, there's potential for others to venture out and do a,
Well, that's why, we've had people come in here
Type of
before
venue.
about the venue, the wedding venue type thing. We've had 2 or 3 others come in here. And, I mean, it's not an insignificant number of people that potentially show up at a wedding.
no.
So that's one of our,
I mean, the tent he's suggesting isn't that large anyways,
yeah.
but, so that's gonna limit his ability, and the parking is gonna limit his ability.
Right.
But anyways,
We'll see what he goes
I
on.
digress, that's all under other business.
Yeah, okay. Anybody else, other business?
Just a reminder on our setbacks for wetland setbacks that we talked about before.
Yeah.
Make sure that stays in the forefront this year.
Great. Craig has that on his
Yeah, and Danny Jean's got a couple of solar, things she wanted, she changed plans tonight, but, I mean, when she sends them to me, I can send them to you guys,
Okay.
as far as solar.
I'm gonna take one more stab at detached ADUs.
Okay. One of the questions that
Not in addition to the
right,
allowed attached ADU, but in lieu of. So
In
it's
addition
one or
to.
the other. It's not an addition to ADU.
Can't do both.
You can't do both. It's one or
do
the other.
one or the other, right, yeah.
Right. Just the
So
option
that's,
of
that,
doing it detached instead of attached.
that's been discussed as a question for the master plan question as to whether that's something we should be considering, as well as, short-term rentals.
I'm not touching short-term rentals this year.
I know that, but I wanna find out what everybody else thinks.
I just happened to be in Alton the other day, and I pulled up this short-term rental checklist.
Yeah.
What we had proposed was minor compared to what Alton puts you through.
They've got a lot of short-term rentals there.
Yeah. But it's
But
not,
it's interesting that,
Any place
that
along
we,
that lake.
I grew up in a time where that was normative, and there was never any problems, because you policed who you rented to. You just didn't rent to anybody. You know, my grandparents had a camp down the Cape, and it was just a cottage. And she rented it only for 2 weeks. In the middle of the summer, and we couldn't go, because she rented it, that paid her taxes, and that's all she cared about.
Yeah.
And it was no big deal, East Hampton had, you know, granted, it was the 60s and 70s, and nobody cared. Your neighbors, you knew very well, and that's another, I mean, to be honest, that's the real issue, to be honest, is what's your relationship with your neighbor?
yeah, and they're not caring about them anymore,
Yeah.
is the problem.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of,
Well, yeah, I think it stems from a lot of people don't even know their neighbors.
right,
Yeah.
right. Or get shocked by their neighbor.
Yeah.
See, I was looking at a boat by her house, and
Yeah.
she said, hi.
Hi.
Hey, wait a minute, context.
He's like, I think I know
said-
you.
I was like, it was weird. But, only because I didn't know where you lived, so.
No, that's why I
like-
said, you didn't expect to see somebody from the planning
Yeah.
board, in the middle of the street walking their dog. so,
Right.
While you're looking at a boat.
Well, it's like when, I don't get to see people when they drive into church what car they're driving. I'm usually at the front of the building. I have no idea what car you're driving. You get a new car and all of a sudden I see you in a new car. I say, wow, when'd you get this? 5 years ago. So,
When you guys were mentioning zoning ordinances, the calendar's up.
Oh, okay.
dates. So, December, November 11th is the first day to accept petitions for zoning, and December 11th is the last day. And then January 9th, I've already planned it out for you. January 9th is your first public hearing. And then 14 days later is your final public hearing, and it fits between that, and it's your regular meetings, so.
Okay.
So your January will be tied up, because you have to have it finalized, and then by February 4th, it has to be at the clerk's office. So, I know we've talked about a few different things. You brought up something, Danny Jean's thinking of solar, Craig's working on the wetlands, so I don't wanna be scratching our head in December what we're gonna do, we just think we gotta talk about things.
Yep, good.
And the petition dates were November 11th.
November 11 through
Through-
December 11,
Thank you.
30-day window. Yep. And town meeting's March 11th of
Could you
2020.
email us a copy of that or something?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
7 pages to stuff in.
town meeting's 3/11?
3/11 is the town meeting, deliberative, I think we're gonna go with February 1st.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.